So our space is this top floor of an old mattress upholstery warehouse. So it's like the top floor, which is big open studio space, direct sunlight midday, but it's a dance studio. So it's wide open. And it's a rare thing, as you know, in New York, to have a big open space, no pillars. So it's great. It's a hardwood floor. There are comfy chairs, things on the floor. You can sit in seats. We can mess with it, arrange it. It's a multi-use performance space and dance studio. And so it's really open for us to create however we want.
I love it. Very oriented, and it feels really great. All the things. Probably those who are attracted to this workshop will feel like it is not the first time they have done something around human potential or getting to know themselves. Therefore, they likely know a lot about themselves, and we're sitting in this mystery of like, well, what don't you know yet? Or what is different than what you thought it was? All speaking to like the fluidity and possibility of being a human who's not in a box, and that felt exciting to both of us.
I want to take.
Yeah.
Like I'm making, it's like the workshop we're making is the one that we want to take or participate in, which is like where movement and story and words and somatic experiencing or nervous system like education meets story, meets frames, meets identity, meets the way we describe ourselves to each other. And looking for, like in SE, we look for where movement's not happening or where it's caught. Same with the story. Like, where is the story just looped around this eddy? And like, how can we use movement in our body to access choice or possibility of other stories or other narratives? Or what are the places, like this spot in my lower right back? Like, I've never really connected there. What's the story with that spot? Have a repertoire of things we know. But what moves do you not know? Story is wanting to be told that hasn't really had the space to come forward. What movements want to happen that haven't had an open space without expectation or format or modality requirements? Take that away. What wants to happen? Dancing to me is literally just a shift in frame where all of a sudden you are valuing movement.
Often will ask me about my workshops. Do I have to be a writer to attend? And do I have to be this? And I think for anyone listening, you do not have to consider yourself a dancer or a writer to show up to this. Like, neither one of us does work where we require people to have some sort of background in anything, actually. And so for me, I always say, like, writing and story is plebeian. It's for the commoners. It's for everyone. Really exciting to watch people show up and play with this art that actually their body knows. Like, in our DNA, we know how to do story. We know how to move. Like, we all have a poet in us, right? And I will often say to my people, we are mammals of metaphor. Like, that is our gift. As far as we know, no other mammal or animal works with metaphor in the way that we do. And that is, it's like tasty. It's like tasty to have words rub up against each other, but to be mindful about how we're doing that. So we're not just working with loops. We're working with like creative fluidity and proportion and blowing our own minds and hearts in that way. So be very much moving very organically between writing, languaging, voicing, moving back and forth, witnessing, being witnessed, being solo. Like, we are both playful people. And so and also serious people. So.
Yeah. The opportunity for organic timing within a pretty sturdy container. I think you and I both offer a pretty grounded sturdiness in our facilitation and teaching, and that allows actually for a lot more responsivity in the room. So that feels really good to me.
Yeah.
I do think this is something that would be really fun to do with someone. Like,
Yeah.
I feel really like I would bring a couple pals to this
Yeah.
because we know each other so well and we know our words and identity. It would be such a fun way to kind of deepen a friendship, to experience something like this where you're shifting those frames a little bit
Mhm.
together.
Well, and also, I always tell, not tell, but suggest that people bring friends to my workshops, if it feels right, because what people then leave with is the potential for a culture around that conversation. And so instead of leaving and going into your own world and being like, I did this cool thing and that's it, you can go, you can reference with your friends and go, remember that thing, let's try it again, or let's gather some other friends and try it together. Just builds more possibility for actual integration, I think, into your world. That said, if some people really want to have an alone experience,
Mm.
they want to be anonymous, I totally get that too.
Yeah.
Because sometimes that's an easier place to step in from. So
Totally,
again,
100%.
everyone. And there is something about saying to yourself, there's some sort of self-honoring to say, you know what, I have this other thing in the afternoon and I'm actually going to shift it because for me, I want to commit to this space and time for myself. That feels like an important thing.
Let's see. August 12th, 10 to 5 in Brooklyn, in New York City.